Well, then we'll take some intervention. I think SIFUNA has a clarification. Proceed, SIFUNA. Senator SIFUNA.
So, Speaker, I think the frustration we have had as a family of devolution, and you can hear even the frustration of the public there, that we have serious problems in the counties, but we just seem to be talking and there's no action. What the Constitution speaks about under Article 225, and we have had this conversation again when the CS has appeared before our County Public Accounts Committee, is that you have the powers as a Cabinet Secretary for Treasury to stop funds going to counties where there is persistent material breaches. Conversation with the CS in the committee, and we said for the family of devolution, there are counties that are notorious.
You agree a lot a few months back. So today I want to agree with you that actually that Article 225 was not just put there in vain. But remember, Senator SIFUNA, we have discussed this and we have said, let me get a recommendation from the Senate to stop any funds. Because again, you see, as National Treasury, I don't also want to appear in the face of it like a rogue Cabinet Secretary. You know, when you stop funds to a county, it's a major decision. And it has political implications, it has social implications, it has economic implications. So it's not something that I would just do, even if there are material breaches. I would expect the Senate, through the committee where Senator SIFUNA, I believe you still sit in the committee chaired by Senator Kajwang. If I get recommendations, even on one county or two, then we will deal with it based on the provisions of the law. I am not afraid to deal with it because it is the resources of the people of Kenya that we are protecting. So I agree, again, I want to repeat, I agree with Senator for Nairobi. We rarely do nowadays. Agree with Senator for Nairobi. We rarely do nowadays, but this is one of those rare. But this is one of those rare occasions.
Very well, Senator Wambua, what is your intervention?
It's a good thing to hear that the CS is agreeing with Senator SIFUNA. Agreeing with Senator SIFUNA. But no CS beyond just agreeing with Senator SIFUNA. There is, but no CS beyond just agreeing with Senator SIFUNA. There is, I was expecting a response that provides a way forward. Not a response that says, we have improved. Because improve what? What's the improvement? I expect to hear he needs a name. He just needs a letter, communication from the Senate to stop disbursements to a single county as a lesson to others that are misbehaving. Now, Speaker, if my memory serves me right, just a few months ago, Meru was on the table of the Treasury. There was a move against Meru to stop disbursements. And I'm not saying you should, because when you stop disbursements, what it means is that you're punishing the people of that. But that matter came before the Treasury. What decision was taken? They said, no, we cannot touch this. So, Speaker, let's not just respond to questions by ticking boxes.
So we will deal with any other county which becomes rogue, including Homa Bay County, where I come from, if they decide to mismanage resources that belong to the people, and there is evidence that there are material breaches, persistent, without change, and it is reported to me.
Honorable Senators, we have to proceed and go to the next question, question number 28, by Senator Professor Tom Ojienda, Senior Counsel. If I could guide you, Professor, ask your two questions, and then the Cabinet Secretary will reply to both.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have two questions. Question number 28 and question number 29. Question number 28, addressed to the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury and Economic Planning. Part A, could the Cabinet Secretary outline the fiscal and other policy interventions by the government to address the slow growth in agriculture, construction and services sector, and its ripple effect on employment levels and county-level fiscal performance. Amazon. Question number 29, part A. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide information on Kenya's current stock of domestic and external debt and disclose the country? Part C. Could the National Treasury consider developing a publicly accessible tracker that links each debt facility to its corresponding development outcomes? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you. This, Mr. Speaker, these two questions I have tried to condense them into 5 pages, so I will move quickly through them. Mr. Speaker, the first question is about intervention that the government is taking to address the slowed growth across various sectors of the economy. I want to state, Mr. Speaker, that in our 2026-27 economic outlook, we are uncertainty following the outbreak of conflict in the Middle East in late February 2026. But in addition to this, we are just recovering from drought, and we are still dealing with the effects of the Russia-Ukraine war. These conflicts have disrupted global commodity markets and weakened investor confidence. We have seen from February the investment in the Nairobi Securities Exchange going down. So the gain, but Kenyans economic risks. So in compared with 4.7% the previous year, it's cooled a bit. All the sectors registered positive growth. I wanted to mention that. All the sectors registered positive growth. Unlike 2024, when we had a number of sectors which registered negative growth, like construction sector, mining and mining sector, all the sectors in 2025 registered positive growth. Some at a slower rate, of course. Worst it was agriculture, because in the final quarter of the year, agriculture slowed drastically because of the drought that began in September. So the growth outlook of 2026 continued to be affected by these external risks, which are transmitted through higher global oil prices that rose from an average of $63 per barrel to $103 per barrel. What measures are we putting in place to ensure that funds raised through borrowing are utilized effectively and translate into tangible development outcomes across the country? Mr. Speaker, the government committed to Cap 412A of 2012 mandates the national government borrowing to be solely used for financing development expenditure. The government remains committed to complying with these legal provisions. Then we have robust PFM systems, the IFMI system. This system ensures that funds, including borrowed resources, are used as appropriated by the National Assembly and for the designated purposes. Then we have program-based budgeting. Now we are moving to zero-based budgeting. This is the first year that we have started implementing zero-based budgeting. On the development of a publicly accessible tracker that links each debt facility to its corresponding development outcomes. The National Treasury is developing the Development Partners Management Information System, and this, I also spoke to it in my budget speech, which is a one-stop digital platform designed to enhance transparency, coordination, and accountability in the management of external resources. The system will track each debt facility and grant, linking it to the specific development projects and their corresponding outcomes across sectors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary, and thank you for summarizing your answer in a very effective way. Honorable Senators, I'll be taking, Senator Ojenda, sorry, do you have any supplementary question?
A full menu of the responses on the guidelines in the budget speech. I think I will pay a visit to the CS so that I can get the full text summarized. It deals with other issues. Thank you.
Professor, I am sure you are aware that it's probably online and you can access it without visiting the Cabinet Secretary.
I will save him time because he's an expert and my former party leader.
Very well. Honorable Senators, I'll be taking supplementary questions. May I remind the senators who are going to ask the question to stick to the primary question raised. Don't go out of topic. And because of time also, keep your questions short and precise so that the Cabinet Secretary can have time to reply. Senator Okech.
Chair, thank you. You know, the CS has spoken about very serious numbers here, Chair. And there are two numbers that have drawn my attention, which now lead to my question. The first number is 7 trillion of, public debt in the domestic market. And then the
Senator SIFUNA.
Again, Waziri, the problem that I have with some of these responses is that they actually don't answer the question that has been asked by the Senator. Speaker, I want to take you to the response to the question of manufacturing. As you know, I was in Thika just this weekend, and growing up, we knew Thika to be an industrial town. You will see in the response there, the CS saying that to revitalize manufacturing, the government is implementing a strategy aimed at lowering the cost of production. And if you go to bullet number 5 there, he talks about improved access to affordable energy and infrastructure for industrial enterprises. Now, Speaker, go to the very next paragraph, paragraph 13, where now we are talking about affordable energy. And the CS says the government has prioritized stabilization. Prioritizing stabilization cannot be what lowers the cost of energy, Honorable Speaker. If you look across the continent of Africa, Kenya has one of the highest rates of cost in terms of the amount it takes for you to buy 1 kilowatt hour. We have one of the highest in the region. We are doing upwards of 33 shillings per kilowatt hour. Compared to our neighbors, Ethiopia is actually doing less than a shilling per kilowatt hour. Tanzania is doing better, 22. Tanzania is doing 12, Uganda 23 shillings, Rwanda is doing 27 shillings. So when you talk about lowering the cost of energy, which is a key ingredient.
Question I wanted to ask, Mr. Speaker, is that he has raised the issue of the debt stock ratio vis-a-vis the GDP. As the CS is aware, I think the President has announced that the Kenyan government is now going to build an airport costing $2.5 billion US, and I wanted just the CS to either come to the House and tell us, is he willing to give us the data, the information, and the agreements which have been signed, how much in real value this airport is going to cost, who are the beneficiaries of this airport construction, and what are the details? I believe that this House, as the Senate, is entitled to receive that information so that we can tell our Kenyan people, because we don't want another Adani to be what we are fighting about in our republic. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a quick one on the response to question number 29, part C. CS, allow me to say I am happy to hear that you are developing a mechanism to be able to link debt to development outcomes. The question that I am asking, Mr. Speaker, is if that mechanism does not exist today, with the trillions of shillings that we are borrowing almost on a monthly basis, how is Treasury able to measure the impact of the money borrowed so far, if, in the words of the CS, a mechanism is now being developed for future use? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And At least the CS has finally appeared before this Senate, Mr. Speaker. Mine is a quick one. Waziri, through the Speaker, of these 12.84 trillion Kenya shillings, I have seen you have indicated domestic debt will be is 7.06 trillion Kenya shillings. External debt is 5.79 trillion shillings. Mr. Waziri, what is the total debt that the President Uhuru Kenyatta borrowed between 2013 and 2022, so that we don't lump under President William Ruto that there is imagination that President William Ruto has borrowed 12.8 trillion. So how much was borrowed by President Uhuru Kenyatta's government from 2013 to 2022, and what is the impact that was borrowed in terms that can be attached to projects, including SGR, among others? Waziri, can you shed light on that? I thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a serious question. Why is Wambua
Thank
laughing?
you, Senator Cherargei. Senator Abbas.
Thank you.
Order, senators. Cherargei, take your seat. Take your seat,
Order.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is actually a concern that from response of the Waziri, some of the interventions actually outlined is agriculture and forestry and fishing. But of course, a larger economy that is actually been driven by the livestock sector, where 10 million people are surviving on, has not been mentioned. So what is the position that, why is it that the focus is only agriculture, also the agriculture remains?
18% of its GDP as revenue. Today, we are collecting well over 14.5%, around 14.5% of GDP as ordinary revenue. And that is even below the two. We have a feeling we can collect up to 20 or 22% of GDP. However, there are a number of reasons. One of them is the inefficiency and of the systems that are deployed by Kenya Revenue Authority, which we are working on, and we have allocated quite a bit of resources, 17 billion, in the supplementary budget that was passed by National Assembly, supplementary budget number 1, to be able to revamp and re-engineer their systems. A lot of reforms are taking place, and we are already seeing some reported progress in terms of personal income tax. But also, it must be understood that a lot of businesses are becoming more and more informal, and collecting taxes from the informal sector is not easy.